Credit card debt is a heavy burden that many Americans carry. So the idea of having that debt forgiven, well, that sounds like a dream come true. But if you're not careful, seeking debt forgiveness can very quickly turn into a financial nightmare because scams are everywhere, promising quick and easy fixes. But if you know what to look for, well, then you can avoid falling into their traps. So today, we're breaking down the 7 major red flags to watch for when dealing with credit card debt forgiveness. The first red flag to look out for is the promise of settling your debt for pennies on the dollar. Now, you might hear salespeople say they can negotiate your debt down to a fraction of what you owe, but this is rarely the case. And here's the truth: creditors are not legally required to negotiate with you, and they're unlikely to settle for such a low amount unless the debt is very old or it's purchased by a debt buyer at a steep discount. So when a company promises this, it often means they're using high pressure sales tactics to lure you in. The reality is that most creditors will only negotiate if they believe it's in their financial interest to do so. And even then, the amount they'll forgive, well, that depends on your financial situation and the age of the debt. So if you hear pennies on the dollar, consider it a major warning sign. The second red flag is when a debt relief company guarantees specific results. Now, here's the problem: debt forgiveness by its nature is unpredictable. There are no laws requiring creditors to forgive any portion of your debt, and every situation is unique. Debt forgiveness companies that promise they can reduce your debt by a specific amount, like saying they can get rid of half your debts, they're just misleading you. Not only is this false advertising, but it's also legally impossible for any company to guarantee how much a creditor will forgive. Creditor negotiations vary depending on your income, the type of the debt, and the policies of the creditor. If a company is guaranteeing results, guess what? Likely a scam. Now, one of the biggest red flags is when a company asks for payment up front. Under federal law, it's illegal for debt settlement companies to charge you before they've actually done anything to resolve your debt. Legitimate companies will only ask for payment once, and that's after they've negotiated an agreement with your creditors and you've made at least one payment towards that settlement. Now, this law is part of the Federal Trade Commission's telemarketing sales rule, and it's designed to protect consumers from predatory debt relief services. Scammers, on the other hand, are quick to ask for fees before delivering results, knowing that many people out there are desperate for relief and they'll pay without question. So if someone's asking you for upfront fees, walk away. Fourth red flag: when companies tell you to stop paying your creditors. Now, this can lead to disastrous consequences. While it may seem like a way to pressure your creditors into negotiating, it often results in late fees, increased interest, and even lawsuits from the creditors. Legitimate debt relief companies will never tell you to stop making payments. Instead, they work with your creditors to reach an agreement that benefits both parties. Scammers, well, on the other hand, they might try to convince you that stopping payments will force the creditor to negotiate. But what it usually does is push you deeper into debt and increase the risk of legal action. A further red flag to be aware of is when companies advise you to avoid communicating with your creditors. This is almost always a bad idea. Avoiding contact with your creditors can lead to lawsuits, and in some cases, it might even mean that the company is stealing from your debt resolution fund instead of paying your creditors. A reputable debt relief company will be transparent about how they communicate with your creditors, and they'll always keep you in the loop. Scammers, on the other hand, well, they'll try to cut off all communication between you and your creditors to hide what's really going on. So if you're told to go silent, consider that a major warning sign. Now, if the company reaches out to you out of the blue, especially with high pressure sales tactics, this is another red flag. Why? Because legitimate debt relief services don't chase down customers or make unsolicited calls. They also don't use robocalls or pushy sales pitches. Instead, real debt relief companies provide you with the information you need to make an informed decision or without the hard sell. So if you're feeling pressured to make a decision on the spot, do me a favor, hang up or block the call. And remember, if it seems like they're desperate for your business, there's likely something wrong. One of the most dangerous scams out there is the promise of a new credit identity. Now, this scam involves companies offering to create a new identity for you, sometimes through illegal means like providing a fake social security number. Not only is this illegal, but it can also lead to severe legal consequences, including identity theft. A legit company will never suggest creating a new identity or removing accurate negative information from your credit report. And if they do, it's a sign that they're engaging in fraudulent activity. So always be aware of companies that claim they can erase your credit history, because it's just not possible. Now, credit card debt can be overwhelming, but the solution isn't to fall for a scam. So by being aware of these red flags, you can protect yourself from fraudsters who are just looking to take advantage of your financial stress. Stick with reputable debt relief companies. They are transparent, they follow the law, and they always put your best interests first. Do your research, ask questions, and never rush into a decision when it comes to your finances. And remember, if the deal sounds too good to be true, well, it probably is. Take your time, stay informed, and you'll be better equipped to find real solution to your debt problems. Thank you guys and have a great day.